Though not official, it looks like Peru has chosen its new president. And in Chile, students are demanding the implementation of education reform for teleSur's. My name is Reagan in Caracas, Venezuela. Thank you so much for being here with us. We begin in Argentina, where President Mauricio Macri is pushing a tax amnesty bill in Congress under the guise of pension reform. If the bill is approved, tax evaders will be let off the hook without punishment and encouraged to bring their money back to Argentina with the offer of lower taxes. Macri hopes to pay off thousands of pensioners with this revenue. President Macri himself is one of those who could benefit from the bill. He was named in the Panama Papers with links to 8 tax haven companies, and he owns at least $18 million in offshore accounts. In Peru, the Electoral Board has finally declared a winner in the country's presidential elections. Pedro Pablo Kuczynski has defeated Keiko Fujimori, the daughter of the former dictator. The dramatic race came down to far less than 1 percentage point between the candidates. The former banker maintained a narrow but constant lead from the beginning. Kuczynski, who lost the first round in April, received the endorsement of leftist leader Veronica Mendoza, as well as other anti-Fujimori groups. Mexican justice officials announced on Wednesday that hundreds of suspects had been detained during investigations into the disappearance of 43 students in the state of Guerrero. Family members of the disappeared have said that not enough has been done to find their loved ones. The case of the 43 Ayotzinapa students caused an international uproar over human rights abuses in Mexico. Students clashed with police in the center of the Chilean capital on Thursday in the most recent round of ongoing protests over education reform. The students marching demanded that the government speed up the process. Protesters have demanded that Chile use its natural resources and tax system to fund free tuition for students who now are often saddled with loans. 18 people died in Brazil last night when a bus carrying university students lost control in Sao Paulo state. 28 people were injured. The U.S. House of Representatives is expected to vote on a controversial plan aimed at tackling Puerto Rico's debt crisis. Residents of the Caribbean island of St. Lucia soundly rejected the governing Labour Party in elections on Monday. The Conservative rival United Workers' Party secured 11 of the country's 17 parliamentary seats. The new Prime Minister is likely to take the country in a very different direction. Our correspondent in St. Lucia, Alison Kentish, explains.
The leader of the United Workers' Party, Alan Shastney, was sworn in as the country's 6th Prime Minister on Tuesday afternoon. In his inaugural address, he focused on putting the short but bitter campaign in the past and turning to the task of building the country. In the lead-up to the election, Shastney had promised to reduce joblessness, eventually repeal the 15% value-added tax on goods and services, and revolutionize education and healthcare.
We are immensely grateful for the confidence the electorate has reposed in us, but we are also mindful of the enormous job that lies ahead and the high level of expectation that exists among the population, particularly those who voted for the winning party.
Meanwhile, former Prime Minister Dr. Kenny Anthony said in a statement that he will not assume the role of leader of the opposition, nor will he continue as the leader of the St. Lucia Labour Party. Dr. Anthony and the Labour Party led St. Lucia from 1997 to 2006 and again from 2011 to 2016. He has not given any interviews yet, but the party's communications manager says members are looking towards the future.
As a party, we need to sit. We need to go back to the drawing board. We need to have discussions on what we did, what we did not do. We need to also take into consideration what we anticipate is going to happen in the next few years, and we will remain a very vibrant, a very active party.
Dr. Anthony led St. Lucia to join the Bolivarian Alliance for the Peoples of Our America, ALBA. He implemented a host of social programs for single mothers and for the unemployed. However, he struggled with high unemployment, which in the last quarter of 2015 stood at just over 20%. Internationally, Dr. Anthony broadened the country's diplomatic relations, embracing support from Venezuela and Latin America. Venezuela supported his laptop initiative, which saw high school students receive free laptops, and the country donated $10 million to help the country tackle unemployment. Chasney plans to make an about-face on foreign policy. He has questioned St. Lucia's membership in ALBA since 2013, and he is likely poised to renew improved ties with the United States. Supporters of the St. Lucia Labour Party have taken to social media to express concern about the future of projects that were not complete at the time of elections. Chasney has promised to review these projects. Alison Kentish, teleSur's, St. Lucia.
At least 28 people have been killed and scores more wounded in twin bombings in Iraq's capital, Baghdad. According to police there, the bombs targeted a commercial street where more than 50 people were killed, and at an army checkpoint where at least 7 police were killed. The Islamic State group has claimed responsibility for the commercial street attack. Israeli police say they have heightened security after an attack in an open-air complex in Tel Aviv. According to officials, 2 Palestinians from the occupied West Bank opened fire on shoppers and diners in the Sarona precinct. Israel also announced that it has suspended entry permits for 83 Palestinians. Police say both men are in custody. A United States citizen from Virginia who allegedly trained with Islamic State for nearly a month earlier this year has been charged with providing material support to the Islamic State group. Mohammed Jamal Qais admitted to the FBI that he decided to escape after he started to learn about the religion and did not really support their ideology. Italian prosecutors are investigating if they have the wrong man in custody after he was extradited in a high-profile operation against people smuggling. The man, thought to be Medani Mered, was seized last month in Sudan. However, after doubts about the arrested man's identity surfaced in the press, Italian authorities say checks are being carried out. Former Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi is to have heart surgery after an attack that could have killed him. This is according to his personal doctor, who spoke at a press conference in Rome earlier today. Berlusconi served as Prime Minister 4 times, but has since been convicted of tax fraud and bribery. Spain's political parties are launching a 2-week campaign leading up to the June 26th elections. This aims to break 6 months of political paralysis after a December vote shattered the nation's traditional 2-party system. According to an influential poll, the Podemos party is poised to beat Spain's long-established Socialist Party. Protesters started preparations to voice their opposition to the annual Bilderberg Group meeting. The meeting is attended by high-ranking representatives from the political arena, the economy, media and science, which have been criticized for being a secret elitist meeting. Protesters believe that untransparent events such as this are bound to bring politics and economy together. Heading to the Middle East now, Gaza residents are the main victims of several attacks performed by the self-named Islamic State group against Egyptian soldiers in the Sinai Peninsula. Noharazin explains.
An Egyptian soldier was killed and another one was injured in an attack on a military position in the Egyptian Sinai Tuesday evening. Official sources said that the incident took place after a number of unknown militants detonated an explosive device under the Karm al-Quwaidis checkpoint in the southern Sheikh Zayed in northern Sinai. Palestinians have felt the impact of these attacks with tightened restrictions at the Rafah border crossing, which was set to close again yesterday, leaving over 20,000 Palestinians from Gaza stranded in the coastal enclave, waiting for an opportunity to travel and continue their scholarship studies or their medical treatment in other countries. Egypt has only temporarily opened the border. It accuses Gaza's rulers, Hamas, of providing militants linked to the Islamic State group in Sinai with training and weapons through underground tunnels. Hamas has repeatedly rejected such accusations and denies any involvement in Egypt's internal affairs. Militants affiliated with the Sinai ISIL have claimed responsibility for a number of attacks carried out against Egyptian security forces in Sinai in recent years. The attacks have been growing more violent since Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi took power from his predecessor Mohammed Morsi of the Muslim Brotherhood in 2013. Relations between the Egyptian regime and Hamas, Gaza's leaders, has deteriorated ever since.
We condemn these terror attacks. The security situation in Sinai certainly affects the opening of the Rafah border crossing, especially in the absence of the national unity government on the crossing the Gaza Strip. In the Gaza Strip, and the non-commitment of Hamas to Egypt's security demands. Therefore, the Palestinian people in the Gaza Strip are paying the price, this unstable security and the political situations through the permanent closure of the terminal.
The Rafah border crossing has been victim of the tensed Hamas-Egypt ties. The crossing is being handled under national security considerations determined by Egypt's military intelligence. Under national security considerations, authorities in Egypt temporarily open the crossing for a limited number of days every once in a while, allowing the travel of humanitarian cases only. Egypt says that Hamas must hand over the administration of the Rafah crossing to President Mahmoud Abbas's Fatah forces in order to guarantee its permanent opening. Noor Harazin, teleSur's TV, Gaza.
Thousands of people of all races and creeds gathered for a Muslim funeral ceremony in the hometown of boxing legend Muhammad Ali in Kentucky to pay their respects. The Janasa, or funeral in Arabic, was held at a convention space in Freedom Hall, the complex where the former heavyweight world champion defeated Willie Besmanoff in 1961 in his last fight in Louisville. And to close, Peru and Ecuador fought to a 2-2 draw in their second Group B game at the Copa America Centenario on Wednesday. Peru is on 4 points and will finish group play against Brazil on Sunday. Ecuador, also on 4 points, will face already eliminated Haiti on the same day. For more on these and other stories, you can visit our website, telesurtv.net/English, or you can join us on Instagram, Facebook, and on Twitter for Tele Sur English. My name is Reagan. Have a good evening. Bye.